It's been insane. 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, I was here at Sundance as a fellow of the Sundance documentary film program, pitching and trying to raise money for this thing. And 2 years later, exactly 2 years later, I'm here with this thing, and it's done. It's great. It's amazing. It's just been like crazy frenzy. I've been in this mad cave by myself, and slowly finding collaborators along the way. And I just realized a couple days ago, it's been that long before I had the chance to really think about it, that I was kind of reenacting Shirkers, the movie, the original movie, where it was like hand-picking, people, special people to kill. And in making this film, I was like hand-picking my collaborators, and from the ends of the earth, really. I'm just slowly just finding these people, and then bringing them to this new family, this Shirkers fam. So anyway, I'm going to bring some of them on to stage with me because they're so much a part of this thing. So from Toronto, there's Iris Ng, my director of photography. She's coming on here. And then from Israel, this is interesting because he's so afraid of the cold, and he's been Israel from like Ishai, we just go outside for a little bit, and he's like, absolutely not. Anyway, so he's here, Ishai Adar. He's like a star in Israel. He's kind of culture. Great control. It's amazing. And then things are strange. Like yesterday, I was in the middle of watching this film in the afternoon. I get this strange email, and it was completely unexpected and without warning. I got this email from this name in the past, and it was Paupière Choi, who played the nurse, and she said, "Hey, I'm in Salt Lake. I'd like to come to the 8:30 screening in the morning," and she showed up. So I hadn't seen her in like a long time, and here she is, Paupière Choi. Please. Sophie, who we all love. Sophie had to take a plane back to school because she had the class to teach, and she's ever responsible, Sophie. So she's not here today, but of course we have Jasmine all the way from Singapore. Magical thing making this film, because none of these people have ever met before. I was just like finding these people and whatever. So in the last few days, I've been working with Ishai for a year via Skype and never met him. I've talked to him, and it's been kind of funny about everything. And I never met him until Saturday, I think. Yeah. And it's just like, we're family now, all of these people. And it's just a wondrous, wondrous thing making a film. So thanks for staying, and thanks for watching, thanks for staying.
Obviously, you're making this fiction film and looking for this fiction film. It covered so much of your life. Did you always have in the back of your mind that maybe you would make a documentary about this?
Not always, because it was missing for so long. And I just never thought I was a documentary filmmaker. I just didn't even think this was even possible. And, but when I found footage, what happened was, the widow contacted me, and we began this correspondence, and she began sending me these boxes and boxes of stuff. I mean, like storyboards, photos, the reels, 70 cans of 16, and they arrived at my house like in boxes, like, every few days, every week or so I get this box. And then they accumulated, and my novel was about to come out at that point, and I just didn't know I could deal with this thing, this ghost from this past coming to me, and I just didn't. There's this haunted boxes would just sit in my living room, and for them to occupy as little footprint as possible, I began stacking them. So they came, they were like this, and then they became like this, and they became like this, and they were stacked up like some kind of like mummy's coffin. I mean, vertical coffin, just, or the Egyptians, so it's kind of bad when you talk about mummies. But they were, you know, and they were sitting in my room for 3 years, like this presence. And I just didn't know what to do with it until my husband finally said, we gotta do something about these things, let's get rid of them. So I began opening these boxes, and I was kind of afraid to see what was inside. And then I took them to this, I found this lab, this post house in Burbank, modern video film. I was really particular about finding the right place for people who would know color and would know something about 16, which is not that easy to find these days. And these were the people who worked on a lot of the Criterion discs for the Douglas Sirk films, and I just like that palette of color. And they also had worked on the Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson. So they kind of knew what I was talking about, I think. So I took these things there, and then they opened up the cans, and they were astonished that each reel of film had been individually wrapped in black plastic before being replaced in their cans. And they were pristine. I mean, they thought, this is from 1992? This looked like it was shot like last year. It's just, you know, and then, you know, some people thought it was a hoax, but it's not a hoax. So then we began the process of, you know, scanning all this stuff to 2K, and I worked with a colorist who had actually done the Criterion Douglas Sirk films, and I was kind of particular about that. And the colors, we didn't have to do very much because they were what they were. I mean, our production designers were amazing. I mean, us kids, we just, you know, we were just so full of, I wouldn't say it was courage, it was just like, we just were kids and no one was telling us no. And that's what you do when you're kids and nobody's telling you no, you just go for it. So then when I saw this stuff, I didn't know what to do. I just knew there was something there. And so I, you know, cut together this kind of a trailer type thing, and I came to Sundance 2 years ago and started pitching it and, you know, put some music to it, and I talked really fast in the 5-10 minutes I had to pitch various people, and then Cinema Reach got involved immediately, you know, Sundance got involved, and BritDoc. So, you know, it just snowballed from there. It's been this crazy, frenzied, miracle collaboration. It's kind of a magical thing.
Thank you. And for Jasmine, what does it feel like to watch the film today? And can you talk a little bit about the filmmaking scene in Singapore right now?
We really have time for that. It's a short history and not much. It's more happening these few days, and I think that's it's only in the last, I would say, the last 10 years that the Singapore cinema scene is really blossoming. So I think to bring this film home would really mean a lot. You know, it brings to mind what could have happened if the film was finished that 25 years ago. We keep saying that, if anything at all, it might have spurred people into saying, what is this crap? You know, we can do better than this, and just maybe catalyze a whole movement. But yeah, it'll be a real Valentine to bring this film home, right, to the people who have been in it. And the people who can't imagine what Singapore looked like that many years ago.
Cool, thank you. I'd love to open it to the audience.
Wait, actually, can I just have Ishai say something, because he's flown all the way from Israel, and I think it's, you know, music is such a huge part of this, and we worked together for a year, and it's been a really amazing collaboration. So, can you guys just ask him something? He's also very funny.
What do you want to know?
Where did you start with the film?
Well, it started. All the credit goes to Sandi, because she just found me out there in the net, and yeah. And from there we just started to find our way into the project. In the beginning, I had actually no idea what the direction is going to be, so I just gave Sandi lots of stuff of mine to handle with and to put into the film. And later on, when the actual work began, I think we had a very interesting turning point, because you have this vocal song, which is not mine. By the way, not all the music that you hear is mine. Some credit goes to other musicians. One of them is called Weish, and she's an extremely talented Singaporean singer and a songwriter. And her song represents actually, it's the theme tune for the actual Shirkers thing, like back then, like the music of the Shirkers before we hear Ben's original score. And so it was Sandi's idea that I will just start to play with it a little bit, like a remix, in order to create something that will give a new context for the song. And from there we just picked it up and developed all kinds of themes from this song and from other tunes of mine in order to create this diversity and this multi-narrative, layer-by-layer music.
Because I think it lives in its best form in here. I mean, we might just, you know, oh, you mean why didn't I finish back in those days?
No, you just loop it dialogue.
That's an idea for later. As kind of a deep DVD extra, as a curiosity. But I think its best life is best lived in this form. I'm saying that with after having overcome the horror of seeing myself, my teenage zombie self, and all of that. You know. Yeah.
Go ahead. Next question. Yeah, go ahead. Right in the front.
I wanted to ask about all the original soundtracks that just disappeared. I wanted to ask if you have contact with the English composer and if you can find that, because in the beginning, I think he has an Oricon camera that was like a sound in the camera, then you go to an Arri and then that's two systems. But that stuff has to be someplace. And then I'll let you answer that, then I have a tag on.
Okay, the sound was not recovered. I mean, when the widow started sending me stuff, you know, she couldn't find it. She looked everywhere. She asked their circle of friends if they had been, you know, kept there. And then what happened was during Katrina, George's old house, if he had stashed the stuff there, everything in their house was gone. But the English composer, Ben's my friend. He's still in Singapore. I just couldn't afford to fly him out here. He's like the missing person standing right here. But he's you know, he had that one tape, and he was a kid, and it was stolen from him. And over the years, he said to me, like, because he's got a band, he does music all the time. He keeps saying he puts, you know, like little bits of the Shirkers theme, and I never heard it. I never believed him, because I just, you know, Ben's kind of goofy. I just thought, you're just like kidding me that you ever composed anything. I never quite believed him. And then finally, I got him together with some of his friends, and I said, just play it for me. And I was blown away by how beautiful and how moving that song is. I mean, he actually was talented, and I was a complete asshole for not believing it.
Tag on to that.
Yeah.
When you use cameras, when you use the sound recorders,
Yeah.
that they usually have an assistant. So
Yeah.
the cameraman, Cardona, he couldn't do everything. You can't do so.
Well, we had a sound recordist. I mean, there was a sound recordist, but I'm just saying that all the sound reels it was an Adar, and all this stuff, it was missing, it was gone. I mean, obviously, George did not want to have us find, you know, these things and put them together again. I'm sorry, but that's all I know. Yeah. I actually live in LA. I've been here for 20 years. I'm not sure about that, whether I would go back there to do more movies, but maybe.
Widow, if you ever talk to her about what she thought about hanging out with a couple of teenage girls all the time and going on a road trip across the country with a teenage girl.
You know, as I said in the film, I didn't tell anyone I went on that road trip. but the driving around with teenage girls, I mean, she let him do so much more. Like, she paid for, I mean, everything in his life, and I think she's the biggest, I hate to use the word victim, but she's been the biggest recipient of his zany behavior, of all of us, I think. And, you know, we're still very much in touch, and she's really kind of excited about this film, but she just wants to be hidden. So I said, you know, if you want to be hidden, I'll stay at home, and I'll just keep you with updates and stuff.